All right, guys. So I'm in my hotel room in New York City, uh, and I just finished watching Mike Tyson fight Jake Paul. Seriously, I watched Mike Tyson fight Jake Paul. I watched Mike Tyson fight Jake Paul for 8 2-minute rounds, and I was locked in. You know what the craziest thing about this whole situation? And honestly, the production value and everything on Netflix was tremendous. Um, but as we got closer, we got more interested in this fight. Honestly, everybody was watching this fight because Mike Tyson is Mike Tyson. You know, I was texting Rogan earlier and I was like, I cannot resist the urge to watch it. He said, I'm going right now to watch the fight. We can't miss Mike Tyson compete. I think, though, that the wool was pulled over our eyes, right? We watched Mike do all these things and we watch Mike in training and you get the idea that he had a chance, but he really didn't have a chance to beat this kid tonight. And it showed very early. Fight starts. Mike gets forward, lands a beautiful jab that rocks Jake. And I think immediately that made Jake realize that he couldn't be reckless against him. But then as time went on, he realized that that threat was not as present as he might have thought. That first jab was probably the best punch Mike landed the entire fight. Entire fight. You know, Jake Paul, the boxer, is much better than people want to give him credit for. But I don't know that this does anything for that because he fought a 58-year-old man. He fought a 58-year-old man to a decision. That 58-year-old man comes out on the other side looking pretty good, if you ask me. He looked like you would expect a 58-year-old man to look in a professional boxing match. To their credit, they actually fought. It did not look like either of them was taking anything off of their punches. It did not look like this thing was staged. They put 72,000 people in that arena. They put 72,000 people in that arena to watch that fight. That's a crazy number. Crazy number. You don't anticipate that happens. Wow, I did some shit to my iPad there. It was like following me and shit. It was actually pretty cool, man. I'll use it more. But I didn't expect the crowd. I didn't know what a live sporting event would look like on Netflix. That was very good. The one thing I did know, though, was that Mike Tyson would be in over his head. You know, I watched the training footage and I bought into it, but then you realize the pads don't punch back, right? I could probably look pretty good on pads. I can't fight as I used to. It's unfortunate that we thought Mike Tyson could fight as he used to, when in reality, that was never truly a thing. He wasn't going to fight in that way. You could see his mind telling him, move your head, Mike. And he looked good. But while he was moving his head and that looked familiar, the legs just didn't move. And that is what used to make him so special. Because while he was doing the teeter totter, his legs were moving too, and everything was moving fast into his opponent. So he was not only threatening with his hands, he was threatening with his posture. He doesn't have that anymore. He doesn't have that anymore. Jake landed some good jabs. Jake landed a couple good right hands. And for as good as they were, and we have seen Jake knock much younger guys down and out with those shots, Mike took them well. Mike also weighed 228 pounds. Jake weighed 227. So you're watching him fight somebody more. Oh, his size. You're watching him fight somebody more his size. which I think made a difference. But again, it's like, what are we going to do in regards to uh, Jake Paul and his boxing career? What are we going to do in regards to Jake Paul and his boxing career? Because he's proven time and time again he can sell an event, right? We saw that with Tyron. We saw that with Anderson. We saw that with Mike Perry. No matter who he fights, it's going to be big. Not Mike Tyson big, because we saw other guys sell 18,000. Against Mike Tyson, he sold 71,000 seats. But is this going to be a real career? Because how long can we truly just do these fights that ultimately don't matter? And realistically, when you do these fights, wow, they are fun. They really don't do much to help a sport that needs everything. Every big thing should be done to help. When Francis Ngannou fought Tyson Fury to a decision, I said boxing lost. Every time we allow for Jake to kind of roll out there and put on these types of fights, it's not the best look for the sport of boxing. It really isn't. And I'm not hating on Jake Paul. I think Jake Paul is a much better boxer. People give him credit for. But I mean, how could he not be? Kid's a millionaire that's training with high-level coaches. His coach used to be at Kronk Gym. He was a fucking guy that was trained under Emmanuel Stewart. He's getting the best of the best in preparation for these fights, but not necessarily fighting the best guys. I think we should tip our hat to Mike Tyson for going 8 rounds with a guy much younger, much fresher. We saw Mike take shots like that before, and when he lost his fighting spirit, he just wouldn't get back off the stool. Excuse me. He's in a much better place today. We saw Jake Paul beat an old man. There aren't 50. I don't think there's another 60-year-old man that could be out there and do what Mike Tyson did. Mike wasn't even ready to say he's retired. He needs to be done. He needs to be done. He should not fight again. There's no reason. I already made $20 million. That's enough. You're making a ton of money on your weed business. You're making a ton of money in everything else you do, and you made $20 million in one night. It's enough. You don't need to fight no more. We all remember the guy that we all fell in love with as children. And that is why the idea started that he might win. But again, when you watch him in that state tonight, you don't think about that anymore. You know that he's an older guy that we all love, but we all want to love and watch him in retirement because he's earned that. Mike Tyson's earned it. For Jake Paul, he needs to take a real fight. A real fight. Another big, strong boxer, but someone that's not older. Someone that we're not fighting for name cliche. Essentially, that fight tonight was about taking Mike's cliche, taking Mike's ability to draw people into the arena, the celebrities in that place was crazy. But again, all these people are of the generation that knows who Mike Tyson used to be. He's not that guy anymore. And we can't force it as much as we may want to. You know, all in all, I thought the product was good. I think the product was good. I think the fights need to be better. The fights have got to be better if we want boxing, as boxing fans, to ultimately get back to where it was, and it held such a strong place in our hearts. So Jake Paul needs to fight somebody real. He needs to fight someone very, very real. Or I'm tuning out. I watched tonight for Mike Tyson. I really did. With the hope that he would knock him out. If I'm telling you the God honest truth. But at the end of the day, he needs to fight somebody real. Before I go, Roy Jones Jr. and Morrow. Morrow is my guy. Roy Jones can't try to prove he's right about Mike biting the glove and playing with the mouth guard. It's just not that important. And as a broadcast team, you can't be in direct conflict with each other like that, especially when you guys are working for a company where they're rolling out a new product. And Morrow handled it beautifully. Hey, Roy, you're a Hall of Fame and world champion. I'm not trying to get into an argument with you, but I know Morrow. He probably watched 30 fights from Mike Tyson's career as he was in preparation for that. So if he's saying that that's been a tick, probably a tick. You don't need to be right all the time because you're the better person in the sport that you call it. You guys are rolling out a brand new product. Roy needed to let that go. Just let it go. It's not that big a deal. Because if you let it go, I wouldn't be going, you can't do that on a broadcast. You're rolling out a brand new product. Don't let that point be the reason that Netflix goes, I want somebody else in that seat the next time. All in all, pretty good, though. It was fun. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the walks. I enjoyed the build. I enjoyed the crowd. I loved the energy. But next time, give me a real fight, and let's see what happens. All right, guys. That was perfect. Tomorrow morning, we're up early. UFC 309 goes down. Till next time, guys, like, subscribe, and tell your friends about my YouTube channel. Jake Paul can always say he beat Mike Tyson. That is just criminal. Unbelievable.